be fine. Just tell me if it gets too dark later.
Okay, we're recording, so.
Okay, let's open our meeting on April 9th, 2020 at 7:01 p.m. And do you want to make your statement first, Linda?
Sure. Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting of the Conservation Commission is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation only. The public may access it following the instructions in this meeting's agenda posted on the town website.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just go around. I'll start first. Penny Jakes here.
Robin Harrington here.
Liam Cregan here.
Linda Avis Scott, Land Use Clerk here.
Okay, so shall we consider the meetings from the minutes from 3/26?
Yes.
Comments?
It seemed fine to me. I didn't see anything that was wrong or missing.
Liam?
I would agree with Robin on that.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented. This is Penny.
Second.
Liam Cregan, second.
Okay, and I heard Robin in the background there agreeing that they were fine as well. So the minutes are accepted.
So you just have to give you just have to sort of, you had a motion and a second, so you just need to give a roll call vote, like say your name and say aye, if you agree.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. I'll start. Penny Jakes, aye.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, shall we start with updates?
Yeah, and I realize they're not, I could have fixed the order of these so that everything related to the new legislation and the ANRADs and everything was all in one place.
Well,
So,
why don't we just talk about it as if they were in that order?
yeah, okay, great.
Lake lowering?
Oh, so you want to do it that way, and then we'll do all the ANRAD stuff
Yep.
together.
That's what I want to do.
Okay, great. Okay, so lake lowering, we did hear back from Mark Rivers. This is Linda. We heard back from Mark Rivers, who's the Lake Wyola Association, Lake Wyola Advisory Committee Chair, and he's gonna work on getting the last details for the memorandum. So when we have those, we can move forward.
Okay.
Um,
Next, Sumner Mountain CR annual monitoring visit.
Yes. So as you requested, I contacted Charlie Eisman, and he said yes, he'd be happy to. He was he would be available actually mid-April, though when I coordinated Charlie being in touch with Chuck Damari, the property owner, they agreed to Chuck's suggestion that they wait until early May. Chuck wanted to kind of wait until to see where the governor's order regarding distancing was at that point. So they've set a date for May 5th at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
The alternate date is May 7th at 9:30. So I know that I remember that at least Liam said he might be interested in going. So when we get closer, we can firm that up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then let's skip over the ANRAD peer review site visit schedule and go on to the Highway Department MOU.
Yes. So I had hoped that Russ and I would be able to connect on this.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, I am thinking that if it's okay with all of you, I could reach out to Tim Hunting to ask him to start working on his list, if that's okay.
Please.
Okay.
Okay, DCR forest cutting plan.
Yeah, so the plan that I brought to your attention at the last meeting, I scanned and sent to you today so that you could look at it more closely. And I don't know if you had a chance to do that.
Yes.
I have not, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did not take a look at it either. Apologies for that.
I printed it out and sort of thumbed through it. I'd never seen one of these before, so I found it interesting, but in terms of interpreting everything in it, I would need some help.
Well, I'm happy to look at it later, but I don't want to take the time to do it right now. This is a preliminary plan?
This is preliminary. I can't tell you where things are at in terms of the next step, which would have been review and sign off by the service forester.
Mhm.
I do know that they're still doing some work, DCR service foresters. So anyway, I don't know where we are with the next steps on this one.
So I'm looking at the plan right now. I see they don't have a harvester noted.
Right.
And it looks like it's a whole tree project because I see that there is softwood, 80 tons of softwood pulp that are being removed, harvested. And happily, it's a long-term management plan as opposed to just a unmanaged harvest. And it's on MDC land, so I'm hoping things are all good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they try to take good care of their property, so no, I don't see any wetlands crossings noted.
There's nothing noted on the front of no stream or wetland crossings or filter strips noted on the front.
And that would be the things we would be
Right.
concerned about.
Yeah, and it does look like it's on a hilltop on the topo map on the last page,
Mm-hmm.
with no streams indicated on that map either.
Mm-hmm. So it's really not anything that we would have. I mean, we may be curious about it, but I don't think it's something that we need to feel concerned about as a board.
I would agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's move on to 104 Lake Drive.
Yes. Okay. So I'd like you to know that Bob Thompson, you have to just pardon me because I'm writing notes at the same time. This is Linda, and Bob Thompson called the commission office, and I spoke with him subsequently, and he wanted to let you know that given the overall situation, he is anticipating that if he is able to pursue his project as planned this year, he wouldn't be doing anything until the fall. So he's thinking that it may not be even until next year.
Right.
Yeah. So in the meantime, though, he wanted you to know that he's filling in some of the holes in his yard
That are outside of the buffer zone.
Yes, he said he's not doing anything near the lake.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
filling in the holes and putting grass seed over it because he's worried about falling.
Okay.
Yep. So, yep, that's that.
And then 375 Locks Pond Road.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that, well, as of the last meeting, this is Linda again, as of the last meeting, the Bernards had not been back in touch, but this week I did talk with Terry Bernard on the phone, and she's preliminarily starting to work on the request application. I did explain to her that given the new legislation that I couldn't say at that point how things would proceed. But encouraged her to continue to work on her application and to be in touch with me if she has any questions.
Okay. So the other things we need to talk about all have to do with the ANRADs directly or indirectly. So why don't we start, Linda,
Yep.
by having you do a quick explanation of the, I guess, webinar or Zoom meeting that you were part of yesterday that
Sure.
explained the legislation that was passed last Friday that affects how we do business during this state of emergency.
Okay, so I attended the MSMCP webinar yesterday, and there will be another one next week. Actually, they're going to be held weekly for the foreseeable future. And so when the next newsletter comes out, I'll forward the link to everybody because it's really worth attending. There were 96 people there yesterday. The DEP program chief was one of the speakers. There was an attorney from KP Law, which they are municipal law specialists, and another firm that also does municipal law was represented, as well as MACC, and all the circuit riders were there as well. So it was very interesting. The primary focus was the update on the new legislation, and there was a lot that did not specifically apply at this time to the commission because of the nature of being a small town versus a larger town or city. So I forwarded to you all the KP Law, right, their summation, their guidance, their translation from the legal document to something that's more understandable. And so at this point, I'll focus on the one aspect that is specific to the ANRADs, which is that that a hearing on a pending application which has been opened by a permit granting authority. So this, to back up, this legislation is written to be applicable to planning boards, zoning boards, and conservation commissions. So that's why the permit granting authority language is used. So anyway, back to that. For a hearing on a pending application which has been opened by a permit granting authority before March 10, 2020, shall be automatically tolled, which means paused, and continued to the first hearing date of the permit granting authority following the termination of the state of emergency, provided said meeting must be within 45 days of the termination of the state of emergency or to a date otherwise prescribed by law, whichever is later.
So as I understand that, and I read the legislation last weekend when it was forwarded to me, I think to everyone, it sounds like the default mode is to pause all open public hearings. Is that correct?
That the commission has the discretion to make a decision to do this. The legislation allows the a commission or a permit granting authority to continue to
Continue to consider
to hold a public hearing during this time. You have the option if you wanted to, but it's your discretion. It's your decision as a commission to decide to toll and wait until the state of emergency is over and you have 45 days to hold the continuation. Because some commissions might want to move forward with something that is that you can do that, but you have discretion. It's up to you to decide case by case.
And so this relates to us, this is Penny again, relates to us in that we are in the position, if we deem it a good thing to do, to continue all 4 of these public and rad hearings until after the state of emergency has ended. Or we can try to hold these public meetings via Zoom at the earliest, at the times that the applicant is able to provide all of the information that we need. And so that would be after all the initial site visits by Emily Stockman. And I can tell you, and I know Robin knows this from being out already, and I know from being out yesterday, TRC has a lot of work to go back and do on both of those sites. I know from what the 2 of them said just in passing that one of the Pratt Corner Road sites is going to take quite a bit of time. I guess there are a number of wetlands on that. And I'm sorry that I don't know which one that it is. So there's a chance that that will take quite a bit of reworking as well. And so it will be, I can't imagine that we will have things by April 23rd, but regardless, we can tell the applicant that we want to continue the public hearings until after this emergency is over. And so we should discuss that as a group. And I'll start by saying that one thing that happened yesterday when I was on the site visit, at the end of the day, we encountered one of the abutters, Mr. Zerwanka, who lives on Carver Road. And he was wondering what we were doing. He's an older gentleman. He's always been pleasant when I've met him. And he's very freaked out about this. You know, he's asking me, are they going to put a solar farm in the wetlands on this property? And I think he, like many people, don't have a very good understanding of what this process is about. And I have concerns about trying to hold public meetings in which town residents have passionate feelings or unanswered questions about this whole process that I feel like are going to be very difficult to handle via a Zoom meeting. So that's my opening statement, and we can discuss it as a group. So I'd be interested in hearing Robin and Liam what you each have to say about that.
That's a really good point. This is Robin. Thinking about a rather recent kind of contentious meeting, I couldn't imagine that, you know, trying to be done via Zoom. So those are, anyway, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. I was just thinking of, in general, the problems of using Zoom and, you know, would they be able to, and that kind of thing. But that's a good point to bring up.
Yeah, I think in general, people who are attending public hearings probably feel out of their element in some way to begin with. So doing it over a Zoom meeting is just kind of going to accentuate that, in my opinion. So I do think it might be wise to postpone until we can meet in person so folks can, you know, look each other in the eye for real in the same room together.
Well, it sounds like we're pretty much all on the same page about that, which, you know, I think you said it well, Liam, looking people in the eye is always much better than looking at a computer screen. And I imagine, I'm thinking in particular of Mr. Zawanka, who I saw. I'm not sure he's a Zoomer.
Right.
So,
Would that be, yeah.
So anyway, I know this is going to displease the applicant. We talked about this a little bit on the site visit. I didn't say that.
I have a news flash for
Oh,
you. Late this afternoon, Maria sent an email which she was there was a piece about upcoming site visit plans, and then she suggested that in recognition of the work that has to be done still on the sites, that her suggestion is that the Montague and Baker public hearings be continued to April 14th.
no.
No, excuse me, March 14th.
May
And
14th.
May 14th.
Excuse me, sorry. Yes, May, sorry. Be continued to May 14th when the Pratt Corners are scheduled, and the Pratt Corners be moved to May 28th. So those, and we'll see where we are at that point. We don't know where we'll be, regarding social distancing.
Can we do that if we've already continued one? Have we?
Yes. So what we would do on the 14th would be say, whichever Pratt Corner is first, this public hearing is continued to the 28th, and then then continue Carver, then do Carver,
I
and
see.
then at 8 o'clock the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we may be continuing all four. We don't know where we'll be at that point.
Right.
But that's the latest suggestion from Maria. So
Okay,
that
so none of them would be on the 23rd of April.
right, except that of course
We would continue.
there'd have to be a minimal meeting to do those continuations.
Okay. And I will tell you one thing that Maria proposed when we were chatting in the field yesterday is delaying them all until some future date. She was hoping sooner rather than later, and that we do all four in one night. And I said to her that I was not willing to do four in one night. So I said I could not speak for the commission. So again, I present this to you to talk about, but I would much rather do two at a time rather than four in one night.
I would agree with that. This is Robin.
Yeah, this is Liam, and I would definitely agree with that too.
Good. Excellent. Okay, so it sounds like we have a plan on this. I think a Penny here again. I think I would state, as I would like to put out a statement that we don't do any public hearings that have, I'm not sure of the language to describe this, that have broad public interest over Zoom. I would not mind if it were a homeowner wanting to do a small project and they needed a hearing for, I don't know, putting a well in, and it would not be a topic of broad interest to people.
Yeah. For example, if the Bernards complete their application and submit it, because part of the legislation is that applications, the permit granting authorities continue to receive applications. But if they did, then that might be one you could proceed with because you've already conducted a site visit. It would be pretty simple to review that application electronically.
Right, and I don't think there would be a great upswelling of neighbors who would want to weigh in on this, although you never know.
You don't know.
It is sometimes surprising when how people respond to things, but it wouldn't be, I think, on the same level as what we might see for the 4 ANRAD projects.
Right. Because Penny does know this. This is Linda. That I also, the office received a call from one of the very nearby abutters for the Baker Road project. And they had a lot of questions about the role of the peer review consultant and the delineations, and whether the entire leased area would be crisscrossed and so forth. So yeah, people are interested.
Okay, I need to go look at the agenda again. So I don't know if all of you, this is Penny again, sorry. I don't know if all of you saw Maria and Emily's exchange today about the schedule for next week for site visits. And Liam, I know you were interested in going, I'm sorry, I can't keep it straight. Which one of the Pratt Corners you had considered going to? Is it west or east?
I had discussed, Russ and I had decided that I would go to the west site and that he would attend east if he could.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw the exchange today, and it looks like they're leaning towards this coming Tuesday for Pratt West. So I can definitely be there for that.
Okay. So what I would suggest that you do is just sort of respond directly to Emily and Maria and whoever the person is that's going to go along on that one from TRC, and just make sure you know where to meet them.
Okay.
And you can do that without involving the rest of us.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Okay. And I have to say, I am concerned about Russ going on the other one. Yep.
Russ, when Russ called me today, he is not going to.
Okay.
He is not going to. He knows that based on, what Penny and Robin experienced, that he can't do it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he came to that realization.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Robin or Liam, either of you are going on the other one as well. I mean, it was fascinating. I was utterly exhausted at the end of yesterday. I was out for 7 hours and it was wonderful, but man, I was tired. Liam, you might not be as tired as I was.
Yeah, 7 hours in the woods is a long day, regardless.
Yeah. And this was the Carver Road one was the biggest area by 20 acres or so. So I don't know. Don't know what to say. The other thing, as I said to Robin when we talked before she went on the site visit, it's not mandatory that you stay for the whole time. I had intended on leaving sooner, and I just found it so interesting that I didn't. So, but you can.
And I had intended on leaving sooner, but I would have never, ever found my way back to the car.
Oh.
So I felt I had to stay with them the whole time. It was fascinating. It was great.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. My knee held out, thank goodness. But a few times I thought, oh, I'd like to get back to the car, but they could even kind of point me like, go that way. But the whole crisscrossing thing, a lot of times, we weren't anywhere near a trail. We were just out there. And so I just stayed with them. I felt that was the safest thing to do.
Yeah. So are either of you interested in going on the other Pratt Corner site visit?
I think for me personally, if they're going to be going next Thursday to Pratt Corner East, it looks like either next Thursday or Friday, then I could only make one day work next week.
Okay, well, and that's certainly fine. It's really, there's no obligation for us to be there. I'm perfectly confident in what Emily is making happen out there. And I think Robin knows this from her, when she was out there, the boundaries of the wetlands on both the Baker and Carver site are being expanded quite a bit, which is partly because you see more signs of wetlands this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's TRC has a lot of work to go back out there and do based on what Emily is requesting of them. So I feel like our interests are in good hands is what I would say.
Great.
So you should, Liam, you should view this as an opportunity to see two really great professionals out in the field doing their thing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it was fascinating. And bring some food. They did not stop to pee, drink, or eat the entire time.
Wow.
We were close to my car at some point and I grabbed my sandwich and ate it as we continued to walk. But yeah, so, and wear sturdy shoes. I don't
Okay.
think, Robin, my site was as hard to walk on as yours was, but there's still, you're crashing through laurel and clambering over down trees. So it was very interesting. Okay, so that's pretty much resolved. And so just so everyone knows what the process is. So TRC did the initial site delineation. Emily is going back out and looking at it with the TRC person. TRC is coming back out and redoing a good amount of the delineation. And then Emily and someone from TRC will go out a second time to verify that Emily's happy with what they did. And I think we should expect from Emily early next week, sort of a preliminary report, which will detail what she saw and what she understands that the TRC wetland scientist has agreed to go back out and do. And then after her second visit out there, she'll write a more formal report and present that to us prior to the next step in the ANRAD hearings. So, anything else on that, Linda? Or
Yes. So, yes. So the one piece that is just on my mind is that, for example, in 2 weeks, if there isn't really, much business, depending, it is possible that, there'll be minutes, and I don't know what else will happen in the 2 weeks, but if there isn't much, technically, the chair, which Penny's not officially the chair, but she is, the chair and I could just do the continuations that are on the agenda. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because the legislation says the chair of the meeting, the chair of the board. I don't know if it makes sense for Penny to be officially the chair for, the next little while. That's just thoughts.
So you're saying on the 23rd of April to continue the hearings, you and Penny would just kind of hold a meeting to continue?
It's possible, that can be done. That could be done if for some reason, I guess really the thing is if for some reason there wasn't a quorum on that night,
we could
still be done.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I have always been reluctant to be the chair. I would be willing to do it for this short amount of time, but I would say if we have substantive business at the next meeting, I would not want it to be just Linda and myself.
Right. I'm thinking that even if it's, we can change the meeting time to 7:25 if there's just a small amount of things, so that at 7:30 you can do the continuation, you can do whatever business there is, and then at 8 o'clock do the second continuation.
Yeah, okay.
And at least to get together and do the minutes and talk about where things are at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just in case there wasn't a quorum, and that's all. So you'd have to make a vote on that.
Well, I'm not going to start that process. So Robin or Liam, one of you would have to make a motion.
For a motion to make you chair. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is Liam Cregan making a motion to make Penny Jakes chair of the Conservation Commission.
I second that motion.
I abstain. Can I do that?
Uh,
Technically, I can't, can I? Because we don't have a quorum
correct.
unless all three of us vote.
Yep.
Okay, well, I reluctantly vote for that. Not reluctantly. No, I'm happy to do that for the moment.
Okay, thank you, Penny. So the rest of you, roll call vote.
Oh, right. Liam Cregan, aye.
Robin
Penny Jakes-
Arrington, aye.
Penny
Okay,
Jakes, aye.
thank you. And then I have just, let's see, I have these little notes. I have two more short things. One, I just, so you know that the Franklin County Cooperative Inspection Program, I wondered why I had yet to receive a response from the email I sent to them asking why the commission wasn't notified about the building permit for 57 Shore Drive, the tear down. And I checked and they are actually, I don't know the status of their clerical staff, but the inspectors are only doing emergency
Oh,
inspection.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's no action on that building permit for the short term?
Nothing. I mean, as far as I know, and Donna hasn't responded to the inquiry that I sent her asking for information about, photos of the trees that she wanted to take down and such. So,
Okay.
and
And I'm going to interrupt for just a minute. My dog is chewing a bone in the background. I hope it's not too loud. Can you hear him? He's on the floor at my feet, chewing away. Doesn't need to go in the minutes.
and so the other thing is that Jen Wallace sent an email, and Liam and Robin, I don't know if you met Jennifer. She lives down the lake and she was on the commission for a short time, and then
I think I met her early in the fall when I was just attending meetings to try to decide.
yeah, and then she had her last semester teaching, and then she had some family things. So anyway, she wrote to say that she'd be happy to be to do projects, somehow be of assistance to the commission without being on the commission. So it was nice to hear from her.
Yeah.
And I wrote back and said that right now, we're operating remotely, but perhaps when things change and I'm back in the office, I have a big project she can help me with.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, to redo the filing, reorganize the permit files. So.
Okay. Is this by street or by?
By street, yes. Yep. So anyway, that's all. I think that's it for my little notes to myself.
Okay. Anything else, anyone?
Did we discuss the Shutesbury General Wetlands Protection Bylaw?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Thank you. I knew there was something.
Yeah. So have Liam, and I need to do this again. Have you and Robin read through that?
I have not. I know that it exists. That's about my.
Okay. So I have homework for the two of you, and I will do the same thing prior to our next meeting, at which I'm assuming we will all participate. I recommend that we all read through the town wetland bylaw. And it's important for these ANRADs in that many of the wetlands on those 4 properties fall under the jurisdiction of our bylaw rather than the state Wetlands Protection Act. Our bylaw is offers more protection to small isolated wetlands and a few other things that are not protected by the state regs. And so it's going to be, you're going to hear reference to our bylaw a number of times when we're reading through the reports Emily gives us, and when we're talking about the wetlands that have been delineated on the 4 ANRAD properties. So things like, well, yeah, read through it and we'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
And if it's confusing, don't worry too much. It's actually not too bad, but it will be a very valuable thing to do, and we'll talk about it and try and make sure we all have a good grasp of it. You know, I've read it many times. I don't read it very often. It'll be good for me to refresh my memory as well.
Is this
Alright.
on our website?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Posted
Yeah,
on
on
the
the right-hand side, in the bottom, just scroll down.
Right. So specifically, things like vernal pools are covered by our bylaw, but they're not well protected by the state regs because they're small, isolated wetlands that don't have like an inlet and an outlet, and they don't have a bank like a stream does. And you'll see this when you go through there. But it's good stuff to be familiar with. Okay. Thanks for bringing that up, Liam.
Mhm.
Any other items not anticipated by the commission? How's everyone doing? You have straight out, Liam.
Hanging in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm much more cheerful on a sunny day when I can be outside all day long.
Looks like tomorrow and Saturday will give you that.
Yep, I'm looking
Yep.
forward to it. Okay, anything else, Linda?
No. I was just thinking about the bylaw when Liam brought it up. And so I think we've gone through everything on the agenda, and I'm just checking my notes to be sure. And so I will follow up with Maria Furstenberg regarding the plan for the continuations.
Do you think it's worth telling her at this point that it's our intent to continue these until the emergency has been lifted? She was asking me what are, how we were going to approach this. And what passing on to her that we're willing to continue in the way that she has suggested is different than telling her that we're going to continue until after the state of emergency.
Okay, so yes, good question. And so I was thinking that I would say, this is the plan pending the state of emergency.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I might go so far as to say the commission decided that as a group not to conduct a public hearing meeting on
A virtual public hearing.
a virtual public hearing on these. I think that
Okay.
seems fair to share that with her. I'm sure you can find better words to state that, but
No, that's straightforward.
yeah, and I did, I did talk with her about this a little bit when Emily was there yesterday, right at the end of our meeting, and Emily backed up what I was saying, that this is an important time to educate people, and
Yep.
and this wasn't just about getting business done. It was getting business done in the spirit of open meeting laws, and I think I said to Maria that I felt it was important, in our town, we make a point of listening to what people have to say and trying to allay their fears. So hopefully she kind of got the message.
Yes. So yes. So I, that I will include a statement that this is an important time to educate members of the public who are concerned and have questions.
Great. Okay. One last aside. I don't think I mentioned in my email yesterday that at the end of our 7-hour site visit yesterday, when we got back to Emily's truck, she had a flat tire.
Oh, wow.
And Mr. Zerwanka, one of the abutters, changed her tire, which was very sweet.
Whoa.
Yes. He's a very nice guy. So at least everything I've seen shows me he's a very nice guy. So that was kind of a quirky little ending to a long, long day.
And that was really long.
Yes. Okay.
I won't complain about my 5 hours anymore.
Well, I had a great time, so I'm not
I
complaining.
did too.
Okay, and Liam, you'll be in touch about your site next
Just
week.
9 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
And I hope you feel really, I hope you
Yeah,
feel
really.
better, Liam.
And if
Thanks.
yeah, and if you're ill next week, don't feel like you have to go.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to be better by Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not, take care of
Good. Take
yourself.
care of yourself. That's the most
Yes.
important thing.
Don't push.
Okay, I'm going to close our meeting at 7:46 p.m. Good night,
Roll
everyone.
call vote, motion to adjourn and all that, please.
Okay, I call a vote that we adjourn our meeting at 7:47 p.m. All in favor?
Robin Harrington, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Any Jakes? Aye, aye.
Did someone second that motion by any chance?
I did. Didn't you hear me?
Yeah, who moved? Who moved?
Oh, I moved. I guess I
Yeah.
can't.
Oh, nobody seconded.
Liam, did
Okay.
you second that?
No. Liam Cregan seconds.
Okay, well, we'll just, thank you.
Sorry.
No one's
All
ever
right.
going to see this video, right?
You did it. You did it.
Okay. Good
So-
night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.